Hey everyone, welcome to Semper Grazing Ranch. If this is your first time on our channel, we are glad you're stopping in. I want to make a quick video to show you guys frost seeding. Frost seeding is a wonderful tool for overseeding an existing pasture when you are dealing with cool season clover and not that there's a warm season clover, but also cool season grasses. Mainly tall fescue, improved varieties or not, as well as orchard grass. Timothy struggles a little bit because it has such low seedling vigor. But history of the pasture you're looking at real quick. We purchased this soybean cropland in October 2016. We put down cover crops, kind of trying to help it. They struggled as we didn't drill them in. Everything has been walked out by hand. Spring of 2017, we used sheep to put in a mixture of clover and orchard grass. What you are seeing here is almost all clover. We had spread that mixture of seed 3 or 4 days ahead of our rotation of sheep, and their little hooves would push the seed in the ground. I suspect the grass seed didn't get pushed in far enough, or just clover's way more vigorous out of the gate. If I could redo it, I would only do the grass seed for the first year, or at least 6 months, then throw down the clover. But lesson learned. So what we have here, excuse me, we have a whole lot of gaps that grass should have been filling in from this clover. And you can see we do have quite a bit of chicory mixed in here, and it loves the summer. So that's a decent crop. They won't eat a whole lot of it. Unless you also have a whole lot of alkaloid plant like fescue. But anyway, we want to fill in some of these gaps so we don't have bare soil. Now back in the fall, I had taken a mixture of annual ryegrass, orchard, and fescue and threw it on large bare spots. And you can see the annual ryegrass really coming in strong. But you got to understand, I had to put a lot of seed down to get these patches. And profitability wise, I don't think it is quite so feasible for an entire farm if you're trying to make money at it. So what we're left with is minute bare spots in between the clover that will fill in over time. But I'm also interested in balancing the nutrition of my animals and getting a better variety of roots and plants in general in my pastures for the microbial population, as well as any part of the soil food web above the microbes. And for those of you who aren't quite as familiar to pasture plants, clover has a lot of minerals and a lot of protein. And in the right seasons, it does have quite a bit of sugar. Grasses have more fiber and a whole lot of sugar. Generally speaking, cool season grasses do not like the summer as much as clover would. But grasses can take off a lot sooner into the spring. And so by having such a diversity, you can spread your forages out. And with these improved clovers and the improved grasses, stockpiling works great. Wonderful here in southwest Ohio. So frost seeding. I have my mixtures that I want to use. If the seed doesn't come in okay, some of the seed might just be dormant until the right conditions are met. But it is 26 degrees outside right now, and there is frost on the ground. Not sure if you can quite see it, but I'm going to throw the seed down. Hopefully it's hitting frost. As the temperature warms up to upper 40s today, it will sort of as it melts, suck the seed down into the soil a little bit. And it is going to do this almost every day this coming week. Frost thaw, frost thaw, frost thaw. And that seed is just going to get pulled farther and farther down into the soil. But not so far like a large grain seed type depth. Just enough for clovers and grasses. Do not try this with alfalfa. It does not like to be seeded in such cold temperatures if you're trying to frost seed. You could dormant seed alfalfa. I've heard people successfully doing that. I do not have the expertise to even go over that. So maybe try another YouTube search there. We seeded alfalfa in our upper not so wet portions of pasture last first week of September, and I know I was pushing it. Some of the alfalfa did survive over winter. You need at least 10 weeks of growth for that energy point to be pulled close to or below the ground. But so if you guys have any questions about frost seeding, or you know, I could tell you what types of seed I use, but I would tell you every farm is different, and I'm trying to use a blend. Here's Barenbrug's Horsemaster. This is like the off-brand version, still sold by Barenbrug, but I got it pretty cheap at Orscheln's. As you can see, a good blend there. And then we've got the Stockmaster, which is a really popular blend. Barrel X is Endophyte free, tall fescue. And there's a lot of debate about whether this type of seed is even worth it. And I can go into that next. And then we've got this Max 2 tall fescue. This is a novel endophyte, a beneficial endophyte. So the endophyte still provides the grass growth benefits, and it does not harm the animal. The endophyte free variety doesn't harm the animal, and Barenbrug has hybridized and crossed their seeds to such an extent that there should still be good growth. If it has Barenbrug's name on it, I trust it. But a lot of people say that, well, there's Kentucky 31, the original endophyte carrying or endophyte infected, usually, seed surrounding your farm. Eventually it's going to cross. That's okay if I'm managing for my farm. What I mean by that, if I'm always selecting the animals that do best. If we start having a lot of these endophyte free and novel endophyte varieties pestering out and failing, and then the Kentucky 31 coming in and thriving, that's going to happen over time. But if I choose the best offspring every single year, those offspring are going to be better and better and better adapted to whatever's on my farm. So anyway, I'm done ranting, but if you guys want to follow us, we're on Facebook, Semper Grazing Rants SGR. We try and post videos all the time, but I love to answer questions and help people out. You guys take care.